Ichimoku Pulse is a signal that has been provided for various platforms on the TradingFinder website. Traders can download the indicator file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms from this section. And also to learn how it works and operates, you can refer to this page. From the Navigator section, we select the indicator file, and by dragging the file onto the chart, we run the indicator. We go to the Input tab, and in this tab, you need to enter the dedicated license for this indicator in this section. To obtain the license, go to the TradingFinder website and get your dedicated license for this indicator from the Support section, then enter it here. After that, by clicking the Confirm button, the indicator will be run on the chart. It will be activated. Once the indicator is run on the chart, it starts drawing the Kijun-sen lines and displaying the timelines on the chart. The Ichimoku Pulse Signal Indicator is a special and advanced tool that allows technical analysis and price action traders to analyze price behavior based on time analysis. Ichimoku is one of the specialized tools for market analysis. It provides us with a comprehensive view of price, time, and momentum equilibrium. Traders can use the main components of the Ichimoku system with the Kijun-sen line as the main principle. The main principle is considered to be this line, and this indicator is also based on the Kijun-sen line, so they can conduct their own analyses. When the Kijun-sen line appears as a flat straight line for at least 5 candles, it indicates a temporary equilibrium between buyers and sellers. With the movement of the Kijun-sen line and the formation of a price slope, a time cycle is formed on the chart. The indicator considers the point where the slope changes as the anchor point or temporal anchor, as we can see here. This flat line has formed for us, and with the breakout of the line upwards, the time point is displayed for us. With the formation of time cycles that include periods of 5, 9, 13, 17, 26, 35, 43, 52, 63, 72, 81, and 90 candles. These are the numbers that traders can carefully observe. They can predict price behavior in the market, as in each cycle the previous wave may come to an end, a correction may begin, or a new movement may form, with each of these timelines potentially being considered as a time reaction point. The main use of the indicator is to identify time cycles and the market rhythm, which helps in recognizing the start and end of waves. Here we can see that the flat Kijun-sen level has formed for us. With the change in the shape, the start of the timeline is displayed for us at this point, which, after that, we can analyze price behavior based on the time cycles. We can see that in this section, the price had an upward movement. With the change in shape, there was another price correction at the point of the 5th candlestick. An upward momentum move, then a range between 2 time intervals. Again, the starting point of the move, the starting point of a momentum move up to the next time interval, then again the starting point of the move. And in this way, we can, based on the price action system and technical analysis, and also using the Ichimoku and Ingada analysis, we can analyze price behavior based on time-based analyses, analyze the price movement, and ultimately identify trading opportunities. In the Settings section, under Input, there are several options available. The first input is for entering a dedicated license, where you can use the license code provided to you to activate the indicator. The next section is related to the calculation settings of the Ichimoku indicator, with the first input corresponding to the calculation period length for the Tenkan-sen. The next parameter is for the calculation period length of the Kijun-sen, the calculation period for Senkou Span B, and finally, you can also specify the minimum number of candles required to identify a flat line here. After that, the indicator will start displaying the time cycles, which by default is set to 5 candles. This means that if the Kijun-sen line remains flat for at least 5 candles, after that, the time cycle lines will be displayed for us as the shape of the lines changes. We can increase or decrease this value as needed. In the next parameter, we can enable or disable the updating of the lines after a new flat level is formed. If this option is set to true, whenever a flat line and a new shape are formed, the indicator will update the time cycle lines and start displaying the time zones again from 0. If we set this option to false, the indicator will wait until all the time zones are formed. This means that the zones are formed from candle 0 to candle 90, and after that, when the last candle closes at the 90 level, the indicator checks the last flat level of the Kijun-sen line and displays the calculation period and time cycle line starting from the most recent flat level that was formed. The next section is related to the display settings for the Kijun-sen lines and the time cycle lines. The first input is for setting the color of the starting line or the main line, which you can change to any color you like. You can choose the drawing style from 5 options: solid, dash, dash dot, and dash dot dot. You can enable or disable the display of its time labels. When you enable this option, it is considered as a background and the time label is disabled. Here, you can see that we've enabled this section again. The next input is for setting the color of the time cycle lines after the 0 level, which you can change to any color you like. You can choose the drawing style for them from among 5 different modes. You can enable or disable the display of their labels, so they either appear as a background or not. And finally, we can enable or disable the display of the candle labels here. If you turn off this option, the labels will be hidden, and if you turn it on, in the next parameter you can choose whether the labels appear at the top or bottom, whichever you prefer. There are 2 options here, up and down, and by selecting down, the labels will be displayed at the bottom for us. Alright friends, we've reached the end of this indicator tutorial. I'd be happy if you share your comments and suggestions with us in the comments section.